Well, the great cruelty of Amazon, when they betrayed my customer to me, when my customer could look me in the face and say, gee, I'm looking for bloop, 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 and bloop. And then they would take a picture of the books and leave and not buy them. When my customer became a kind of middle-class shoplifter of what the shop had that they could then get cheaper. I think there'll be 100% increase in shops. Bookshops, hat shops, shoe shops. If we can get through some of these hideous, horrible, idiotic wars.
How has the introduction of Amazon changed shopkeeping?
Well, the great cruelty of Amazon, the great cruelty, when between you and me, when we really became opponents, was when they betrayed my customer to me. When my customer could look me in the face and say, gee, I'm looking for bloop, 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 and bloop. And then they would take a picture of the books and leave and not buy them. When my customer became a kind of middle-class shoplifter of what the shop had that they could then get cheaper. Which meant it's a little bit like coming between the doctor saying, say, ah, because I'm supposed to come out there and you say, gee, what do you have on, Art Deco shop design? And I bring out, 15 books. That's what I'm supposed to do. But Amazon made it you couldn't do that. Because it didn't take long for you to come out and bring out the 15 books and then have somebody not buy one. Yeah. And you learned. And but some of it is evening out. Some of it is lost. But I think probably in the next, the other thing is I think there'll be 100% increase in shops. Bookshops, hat shops, shoe shops. If we can get through some of these hideous, horrible, idiotic wars. Idiotic maybe isn't the right word, but horrific is the right word. If we can get to this, if this COVID is the mark in history of the start of a new era, and if we can get to that new era, there'll be brilliant shops. And you can see it. You can see it. Come to Whidbey Island. There's 5 new shops that any town would be honored to have. Grey Horse, Imperfetta's here, but Imperfetta, Edit, Alma. I mean, how great are these? This is the wonderful spirit of presenting with a great hope and a great eye. So,
why do you think that revolution's happening now? Because I agree with you that there's this burgeoning that's happening, this specificity with shops, and this greater.
Because I think they strangled it. I think they strangled it and discounted it and so demeaned it that the act of going shopping is returning as a kind of honor. Now, when 25 years ago, a customer took me aside and said, can I talk to you? And I said, sure. And he said, you keep selling these pens and pencils and paper, and the world's not going that way. It's gonna, it's a computer is really gonna, and I don't want to see anything to happen to you. So I said, well, you're very brave to say that, and you may even be completely correct, and I'll try to keep a better track of it. But in 25 years, our attention and our detail and our abilities with the pen and the pencil and the paper and the eraser and the point and the nib and the lead and the is 4 times as good. In that sense, the internet and the computer saved paper. Paper was dying of boredom. Pens and pencils were dying of boredom. The Japanese did see this, and now they are the leading makers of new pens and pencils and paper. And they're brilliant. Brilliant. And other people will catch up to them now because but, you know, your choice of pen, paper, pencil, all of that, you know, 25 years ago, you didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
50 years ago, there were stationery stores, and your parents had it. Your mother did, your father did, your sister did, whatever. But that you know, the computer and the simplistic stupidity of the 70s and the 80s for culture, it just wore all that out. And but now it's back in a storm. You know, in a storm, people come in. Yeah, do you have anything with better paper than this? I mean, come on. You have, you know. Anyway, so and that is a shop. Now, apparently, people are going back to malls, which I find completely fascinating. They're going back to malls as a social act.
Yeah.
And I find that just fine. At some point, you do have to stop watching movies. And I mean, you can take it to the end, but you'll do better if you don't. And at some point, you have to stop watching movies. You have to walk. You have to see people. You have to have a life. You have to see the person you're with and walk about with them. And you have to take your children or your friends, or you have to be out. And the mall betrayed itself and paid a terrible price and all of that. But there are some wonderful designers, a brilliant French firm doing brilliant housing in horrible relics of 60s housing, converting them into these brilliant new, which is not an easy job, which you only do by passion. And that's why you'll have more shops.